children. I hope you all are fine. Yes, the amount of smileys and good mornings make me feel good. But dear children, let me begin this day with a request. Now, forget about these good morning wishes. I know you are there. You know I am there, right? You can see me as well, right? So, give up with these comments at this moment. Open up your book at page number 63. Let us continue with the chapter. Okay? A very good morning to all of you. May God keep you all fit, fine, healthy, energetic. Right? So let us not waste our time in these morning wishes. All of you be ready with your book. Open up your book at page number 63. Clear? Yes. Now no more comments. No more comments, no more unnecessary wishes. Okay, let us start. We were reading a very beautiful, very interesting chapter. Humor in itself means anything that makes you laugh, anything that makes you happy. And that is what we found in this chapter. The author, Jural Jural, has very beautifully described the reason why he names the chapter as Georgina's wicked sense of humor, and we got a clue in the previous chapter itself, previous class itself, how Georgina was. Who was Georgina? The name of the monkey, who was the author's favorite. Now, this Georgina happened to entertain everyone. Okay, this Georgina happened to entertain everyone. Okay. Now, how did it do? We remember that the author had tied up Georgina near his compound gate. Okay, and from therein, he was tied to the gate because with the help of a belt round his waist and a long rope. The narrator did that keeping in mind that Georgina would see the people walking to and fro on the streets, and that would keep him occupied, will keep him happy. So, Georgina happened to do that. He really did enjoy it, but he added to his entertainment. He really amused people not only by seeing things happen, but she developed an opinion, developed a crooked way of entertaining others in a different, unique manner. What was that unique manner? We saw that the chapter will describe you about three cases. Okay. One was that old hunter who was coming to the narrator's house with the pot full of rat. The person who was coming to the narrator's house was an old man. He was in a dignified state. Okay, he wore good dress and in a very dignified manner, slowly, decently, he was approaching the narrator's house, but quite unaware of the fact that there was someone in the name of Georgina tied to the compound gate, and that Georgina could afford to entertain him in a unique manner, and that is what Georgina, as per her plans, did. As soon as the hunter entered into the narrator's gate, Georgina came out of her hiding, caught hold of the hunter's leg, okay, and hugged the leg of the hunter in such a manner that the hunter was shocked and surprised. He jumped up in fear, okay, and throwing the pot of rats there, which broke the pot, and the rats all ran away hither and thither. Okay. The man also jumped in his place, forgot about all his dignity, and quite unlike his age, he ran away from that place. Okay. Later on, the narrator says that I had to pay a big price for that. And what was the price the narrator had to pay? He had to give away 3 packs of cigarette and half an hour's cool down talk, gentle conversation with the hunter so as to cool down his disturbed nerves. Later on, when the matters were solved with the hunter, the narrator had a conversation or had a gave a nice class, took a nice class with Georgina. He scolded Georgina. But this monkey was so wicked, so naughty, that what did she do? She acted as if she knows nothing. With innocent, amazed, surprised looked at the narrator, showing her teeth, okay, her pinkish eyelids, as if, what did I do? I don't know, why am I getting scolded? Now, with this only, the narrators, the monkeys, Georgina's story did not end. The second paragraph, the third paragraph of the chapter of the page number 63, describes about the second issue or the second way Georgina created a funny picture. What was it? The next morning, a dear old lady, weighing about, carrying a heavy weight, about 14 stone, came panting up to the rest house gate, balancing carefully on her head a kerosene tin. A kerosene tin, it was kerosene tin, but not full of kerosene oil, it was full of groundnut oil. The narrator had a cook named Philip. So that fat old lady was bringing a tin full of groundnut oil to be sold to the cook, Philip. And seeing that lady approach near the house, what did the cook do? The cook was aware of Georgina's ways, so the cook quickly was trying to run out of the kitchen and move towards the gate to warn the lady beforehand about Georgina's being tied there. But before the cook could reach to the gate, Georgina had done her job well. What was the job? Again, came out of her hiding as soon as the lady entered into the narrator's compound. Georgina jumped out of the hiding, caught hold of the lady's legs, and started screaming as loud as she could. This frightened the lady, who was quite contrast to that old hunter who was lean enough, thin enough to jump out and run out of that place. This lady was a fat one. She could not afford to run as swiftly as the hunter could. So she got stuck to that place, and she also, out of her fear, started screaming with that equal loudness. She also started screaming. And when Philip reached the scene, he was shocked to see that both Georgina was tightly tying hold the lady's leg, and the lady was also screaming as loud as Georgina, and both of them were screaming at each other. So, this was the scenario. And in the meantime, that heavy tin which the lady was carrying, full of groundnut oil, it fell off. The lady, when she was caught hold by Georgina, okay, was strongly tied up by Georgina's iron fist, could not really come out, could not even run out, but she was so scared that she could not keep a balance of the tin that she was holding, and it fell out from her head. Philip, when he reached there, he was trying not only to warn the lady about Georgina, but he went there with the intention to help that tin. He ought to have done that instead of keeping quiet there and trying to instruct the lady. He was trying at the top of his voice to warn the lady about Georgina, and he forgot the main duty. He could have caught hold of that tin and stopped it from falling down, but the man could not really use his reasoning in an efficient manner. Okay, so what did Philip do? Instead of catching hold of that tin, he was loudly trying to instruct the lady. Clear? 1 minute, children. Immediately stop this chat behind. I can see everything. Stop it. Concentrate on the chapter. Look at the book. Immediately stop this chatting. If I see, I will write a complaint against independently against those students whom I see chatting now. This is your study time, not your chat time. Is that clear? Look at your book, page number 63. Concentrate there. End up. Fair. So, Philip, seeing the old lady, he rushed out of the kitchen to warn her about Georgina, but he arrived on the scene too late. Georgina leapt from behind the hedge with the cunningness of the leopard. What do we mean by the cunningness of the leopard? Means the leopard is known for its swift movements. So Georgina also, as swiftly as a leopard does, jumped out of the place of her hiding and caught hold of the lady's legs and threw her arms round the lady's fat legs. Fat lady, fat legs, uttering her frightening war cry as she did so. The poor lady, the poor lady was far too fat to jump and run as the other victims had. So she remained rooted to the spot, uttering screams almost as loud and frightening as Georgina's. So while both of them were screaming, what did happen with that kerosene tin which was full of groundnut oil? The kerosene tin shook dangerously on the lady's head, and Philip came running across the compound, roaring instructions to the old lady, none of which she was capable of either hearing or forget about obeying. When he reached the scene of the battle, Philip, in his excitement, did a very silly thing. What was the silly thing he did? Was that instead of holding the tin from that lady's head, okay, he caught Georgina round the waist and tried to pull Georgina away from that lady. And that lady, she was so fat that she could not run out of that place, nor could she move from that place. She remained stuck to that place. She lost her balance because Georgina was being pulled tightly by Philip, and Georgina at that time was holding that lady's fat legs very strongly. So the lady lost her balance, and the tin which was full of kerosene oil, it fell down from her head and it spilled everywhere in the ground, as well as it popped out from the tin and fell all over the lady's dress, Philip's dress, and even Georgina, all over Georgina. Philip caught Georgina round the waist and pulled with all his might. The old lady's vast body, huge body, shook like a big tree on the point of falling, and the kerosene tin which was on her head fell to the ground with a crash. A wave of oil leapt into the air as the tin struck the ground and covered all the three of them in a golden waterfall. It should not be waterfall, it should be oil fall, right? So Georgina gave a grunt of fright. Georgina got scared and she left the lady's legs and ran behind her bush, where she sat down trying to rub off lick off all the oil from her fur. Philip at that meantime stood there looking as though he was slowly melting down from the waist down because the oil spilled over his body towards the bottom side. And the front of that lady's dress also, sarong means dress, also was equally wet. It was all covered with oil. Wah! Roared Philip angrily. That made Philip very angry. You stupid woman! Why you throw this oil for the ground? Foolish man! This conversation is in a local language which was going on in between Philip and that old lady who had brought the tin of oil. Okay. And in standard English, the meaning is the conversation has been beautifully described and explained in that blue box given on the right side of page number 64. So please do read that as well. First, I will read this conversation and then I will give you the explanation. Wah, roared Philip angrily. You stupid woman! Why you throw this oil for ground? Foolish man! Screamed the old lady, equally angry. This animal come for bite me. How I go do? This monkey no go bite you, you fool! This tame one, roared Philip. And now, look, this my clothes won't spoil. Nah, all your fault this. No be my fault, no be my fault, cried the old lady, her whole body shaking like a volcano. Now your own fault, and all my dress do spoil, and all this my oil gone down for ground. Foolish woman, blood Philip. You done this, throw this oil for ground, and no cause. All this my clothes done ruined. So this was a conversation that was going on, the angry conversation that was going on in between Philip and the lady with the oil. Ah, roared Philip angrily. You stupid lady, why did you throw this oil on the ground? Foolish man, screamed the old lady, equally angry. This animal came to bite me. What could I do? This monkey was not going to bite you, you fool. It's a tame one, roared Philip. Now look at my clothes. They have been spoiled, and it's all your fault. No, it's not my fault. It's not my fault, cried the old lady. Her whole body was shaking like a volcano. It's your own fault. And my dress has been spoiled, and all my oil has been thrown on the ground. Foolish woman, blared Philip. You threw this oil on the ground without any cause, and all this has ruined my clothes. Philip was so angry, he stamped his large foot in anger, and the result was that it landed on a pool of oil, and again, what happened? It splashed over the front of the old lady's already dripping sarong, giving a scream like an exploding bomb. The old lady, when she again got another blow, another wash of water, or that oil, I should say, she got so angry that giving a scream like an exploding bomb, the old lady stood there trembling as she would burst. And I went to the good lady. The narrator, who happened to see this, he says that he had to go to the old lady, comfort her, give her compensation for her dress and the oil that got all thrown down, spattered, spoiled, and then consoled Philip as well by promising to give him one of his new pairs of shorts, socks, and a shirt. Then what did the narrator do? Uh, After these two incidents, the narrator could not really keep Georgina tied to that place. He untied Georgina and removed her to a place where she could not perform any more of these expensive attacks on the local population. So, this was the final decision the narrator was compelled to take, and that was to untie Georgina from that place near the gate, and he tied her in a place wherein Georgina from there she could not really play any of these tricks with any of the normal public of the place. I hope you understood. See, in the last line, the narrator describes this line very beautifully. He says that I had to untie Georgina, then I untied Georgina and removed her to a place wherein she could not perform any more expensive attacks. So, what do we mean by expensive attacks here? Expensive means whatever tricks, amusement tricks, Georgina was playing on the people there, it had to be stopped, or else it would continue costing the narrator more than with what he had to already pay to the people whom Georgina had troubled so much. That is why the narrator calls it as expensive attacks on the local population. I hope you understood the chapter. I can still see some. Sudev is talking too much. Sudev Bhome is talking too much. Please do not talk. Tushika. Tushika is also talking too much. Shame on you people, you are not obeying the teacher. I'm going to complain against this. I hope you understood the chapter. Yes? Now today I shall forward you the word meanings as well as the question answers. Now keep ready your pencil in your hand. I hope all of you have picked up your pencil. Let us do the exercises given on page number 65. Reading skills. If we have understood the chapter took time because of the gaps in between. There were holidays also in between. So that was the reason we were just held up with this chapter for long. Hardly matters. I expect each one of you to keep your pencils ready. Write true or false for these statements. Dural liked monkeys as they were wicked. Now, once we had understood the chapter, and once we have understood the meaning of the word wicked being used in the chapter, what do you think it is? Did he like monkeys because they were wicked? Wicked here means naughty. Okay, wicked here means naughty, lively, noisy. Okay, and live for the moment attitude. Yes, yes, to a certain extent. But towards the end of the chapter, we find that he really realizes that at times too much of naughtiness also could cost him a heavy penalty. And that is why he had to pay the hunter, he had to pay the lady, he had to pay Philip, his cook, as well. Georgina was tied near the gate to keep a watch on the visitors. Was it for keeping a watch on the visitors? No. Just cut off a watch on the visitors and write. Why was she tied near the gate? To keep herself occupied, watching people, amusing herself, entertaining herself. Not to keep a watch on the visitors, but to keep herself occupied and amused. So, third, Georgina trapped people in her belt. Did Georgina use a belt to trap people? No, it's false. Why? Because she trapped people, she caught hold of the people, their legs in her stronghold, in her round the she caught hold of the people's leg by her strong fist hold. She did not use a belt. Then paid 10 shillings to the old man as a compensation for the loss of his rats? No. Again false. Because Dural paid 3 packs of cigarette and half an hour's gentle conversation with the man as a compensation. Right? Who did he pay 10 shillings? That African hunter from whom Durrell had bought Georgina for himself. So, to that African hunter, he had paid 10 by Georgina, but the man who had come to Durrell's house to sell the pack of or the pot of rats, once the pot broke and the rats ran away, the narrator paid a compensation of 3 packs of cigarette and half an hour's gentle talk to the person. Clear? Then E. When Georgina screamed at the lady, the latter ran away. Did the latter run away? No, because she was too fat to run away. On the contrary, on the contrary, what did she do? She was so fat that she could not run away. She remained stuck to that place itself and tightly held up by Georgina. Okay, and then there from there itself she also started screaming as loud as Georgina, and this scream between Georgina as well as the lady scared both of them. Clear? Now we shall come to section 2, page number 66. Page number 66. Page number 66, section 2 and 3. Children, today I will forward you the notes. Today I will forward you the notes, okay? And as you get the notes, you copy it down carefully, neatly, practicing proper cursive handwriting. Is it clear? Follow it and copy down, prepare the fair notes, right? And keep your notes copy ready. Clear? So section 2 and 3 we shall do it. I will forward you the notes for that. Clear? Now only one more day we shall give for this. For tomorrow we shall just go through this book, and after that we shall just do again get back to grammar. Grammar chapter number 2. So today as I forward you the notes, you just go through it. If you have any problem, if you have any doubts to clear, then only you just tell me. Do not post unnecessary things. Okay? Do not post unnecessary things. What is one or two answer? One or two of section A? Instead of wicked, 1A, instead of wicked, you write lively, naughty, mischievous. So it is not completely true. It is not completely true, but just because they are considered wicked means lively and active and naughty and mischievous, so it is, you can mark it true as well, but do make the correction. Okay, right? So 1A true, 1B, even if you mark it as false, it hardly matters, but you mention it, give the explanation. I have already forwarded you the chapter. I have written down the notes there also. Clear now? So refer to it, and today I will forward you the notes and the word meanings. Write down the word meanings given in the back of the chapter, okay, as well as the notes, the word meanings which I forward you today, both need to be done. Is that clear? Prepare your notes copy in a neat and clean manner. Have a nice day ahead. Bye, children.